Good evening. I'm Matthew Cole, principal here at Penridge North Middle School, and I would like to welcome you to the 8th grade Honors Award ceremony this evening. This is the first and hopefully the last time this type of event will occur. Any imperfections you see tonight may occur. We'll be coming to you live, so we're hoping they are minimized tonight because that could possibly happen. Before we begin the ceremony tonight, I would like to thank a few people who made this event possible. I'd like to thank Dr. Bolton and Dr. Scheid for their support in bringing this presentation to you. I'd also like to thank Ms. Nicole Delmonica and Mr. Dan Alexander, who are the technicians behind this presentation tonight. Without them, I absolutely could not have made this work or pull this off. Mrs. Sattel and Mrs. Sulat, who are administrative secretaries, they did a fantastic job organizing and worked tirelessly to get the programs together, the medals, and all of the things behind the scenes, so I thank them. Mr. Joyce, our facilities manager, for having the auditorium in fine shape, cool, clean, and ready to go. I would also like to thank my wife, Kim, for her technical support over the past 3 months, because without her, there's no chance I would have sent you any of the videos that you received at home or any of the other images that you received. Not only was she a technical support person for me, but she was by me morally and emotionally through this time, because it was extremely tough getting through this period of time for us. So I'd like to thank her. Thank you, Kim. I'd also like to thank the parents. This has not been an easy time. It's been overwhelming. It's been trying. It's been exasperating. Without your support of your children and our teachers, we could have never survived the last 10 to 12 weeks. So I want to sincerely thank you for what you've done in supporting myself and the teachers in the building and your children as well. Also, I'd like to thank the students themselves. Who knew in March that they'd be sent home and not to return for the rest of the year, to sit in front of their laptops and do all their work from home and remotely. It was a big challenge for them. It was a big challenge for the teachers, and I commend both the students and the teachers for their efforts that they made during the course of this last 12 weeks. It was not easy. It was overwhelming, and I can speak for the teachers for sure when they were not ready for this. No one knew on March 13th that they were going to say, hey, the rest of your lesson is going to be virtually to your students at home. And a big pat in the back for them for what they've done. I'd also like to thank the weatherman, because over the last few weeks with all the celebrations, he's cooperated fully. And for the next 2 days, when you have your parent, when you have the student pickup and drop off, it's supposed to be sunny for the next 2 days, and your yard signs. Thank you. So we'll take it. I want to remind you at the conclusion of this presentation, there'll be 2 links provided to you, one for the 8th grade honor ceremony for the awards, and one for the end of the year video. The end of the year video was created by Ms. Nicole Delmonica. And in that award, you have kind of a recap of the year in pictures, sound, all those things. And on that note, I'd like to thank Ms. Delmonica for the work and energy she put in bringing the joy and happiness to many over the course of this 10 weeks. Her videos were creative, funny. It gave everybody a chance, a little levity, and even some sadness sometimes with some of the topics they touched on. So thank you, Ms. Delmonica, for your hard work. That was well deserved, and thank you for the 25 people sitting in the audience. I also like to thank Ms. Marchese for putting together the Honors Award video. That's also there at the link at the end. Her and Mr. Tam did a nice job putting that together as well. So thank you. So tonight we have the opportunity to recognize 13 of your classmates who will be receiving one of our individual awards this year. The awards are the American Legion Award, Citizenship Award, Outstanding Male and Female Athlete Award, the Merit Award, the Assistant Principal Award, and the Principal Award. Again, although selecting these nominees is extremely difficult with so many deserving, wonderfully talented, and intellectual people in our building, I think the faculty and administrators made excellent choices with these 13 candidates we're honoring tonight. So our first award is our American Legion Award. Commander Frank Brown was unable to make it this evening, but wanted to pass along his well wishes and congratulations to this year's recipients. The students who were nominated for the award displayed the following virtues and characteristics: leadership, companionship, honor, character, service, selflessness, and scholarship. The teachers who will be presenting the male and female recipients of this award are Mrs. Melinda Griffin and Mr. Paul Bolberg. Mrs. Griffin will present first. Mrs. Griffin.
My wish for you is that you continue to be who and how you are, to astonish a mean world with your acts of kindness. Maya Angelou. When our children were little, my husband and I used to talk about what we called our order of priorities. These were the qualities that mattered most to us as parents, the characteristics we valued and hoped our children would develop. For each family, the list might look different, but for us, it wasn't getting the best grades or being the best musician or even the best athlete. What we wanted most for our children was to have them to become good citizens, to display integrity, honor, and respect. We hoped for them to become individuals who helped others and made their community a better place. This year's American Legion Award winner has cultivated those characteristics. An honor student and valued member of Student Council, she leads by example, showing younger students what it looks like to persevere and to work hard. For 3 years, she has helped North Middle School become a better place. She's helped build a sense of community and created a positive culture within our school. This student helped to plan and organize dances, which encouraged hundreds of students to get to know each other a little better and have fun in safe surroundings. Also, she's assisted in the development of service activities such as visiting neighboring senior communities and food drives for our local food pantry. Opportunities that allow our students to think beyond their own needs and experience the joy that comes from helping others. In her 8th grade year, this young woman bloomed in her leadership, serving as a dance captain, secretary of drama, and recording secretary of student council. Her calm demeanor provided stability in what could often be rambunctious meetings, and I frequently found myself looking her way as our volume increased and our attention to the agenda decreased. She would just smile, and her smile was calming and contagious. Her peers describe her as kind, generous, and helpful. She's a soft-spoken young lady who possesses a beautiful inner spirit. In both drama and student council, she is intentional about including other students, asking for their ideas and their input, making sure they felt like part of the group. Present in the moment, she's a steady, strong, and determined person, a solid foundation one can build on. She was someone I could count on, as she was always ready to step in and help when help was needed. As this young woman moves on to high school, I have no doubt she will continue to grow and develop in amazing ways. I'm equally certain the qualities that earn her this award, her courage, leadership, service, kindness, and generosity, will never change because they are woven into the fabric of her nature and the bedrock of her identity. It is my honor and privilege to present this year's American Legion Award to Kylie Faby. Congratulations, sweetie.
Joe DiMaggio once said, a person always doing his or her best becomes a natural leader, just by example. And Albert Schweitzer said, example is leadership. The student who has received the American Legion Award this year understands this. I have had the pleasure of teaching him since he was in 6th grade as a member of the band here, but I have known him for the last several years from Penridge Little League. He's not the type of student or teammate to stand up and tell everyone what to do. Rather, he shows up every day, ready to work, ready to do better than he was the day before, and lead by example. He understands that the keys to success in life are being on time, having a good work ethic, putting forth good effort, exhibiting positive body language, exuding positive energy, having a good attitude, approaching whatever he does with passion, being coachable, doing extra above and beyond what you're asked to do, and being prepared. I have also seen him in my general music class actively seek out the student who needed a partner in group activities and then help them succeed when other students would not. Listen to what his other teachers had to say about him. From Mr. Wonder, he is an incredible young man, one of my top Algebra 1 students last year, and worked incredibly hard on the wrestling team this year. Mr. Tam, he always worked hard, is intelligent, has high grades, is respectful, insightful, consistent, reliable, dependable, and set a good example for others. From Dr. Cole, he has always been a friendly, confident, well-mannered, intelligent young man. He deserves every good thing that comes his way. And from his biggest fan next to me, Mrs. Griffin, he is a rock star. He joined student council in 8th grade and was consistently on task with 100% effort all the time. He can be counted on to do the right thing even when others don't. He's an amazing young man and treats others with respect. You can always count on him to do the job right. It is for these reasons that I'm so happy to call forward this year's Male American Legion winner, AJ Pliska.
Thank you, and congratulations to both Kylie and AJ. Nice job, both of you. Well deserving. Our next award is the Good Citizenship Award. Senator Centesero was unable to make it tonight, but he passes along the message to the 8th grade students and the 2 recipients. He writes, "It is my privilege to congratulate you on your graduation from Pembridge North Middle School. First, I'd like to thank all the teachers, administrators, and support staff for all you have been doing for our students during the time and inviting me to be a part of the celebration today. We all know this is challenging, and it's a challenging time for education, but to see how you've all risen to the challenge makes me proud to be your senator, hopefully in the future as well. In keeping with the tradition, I'm glad to continue sponsoring the Good Citizenship Award for graduating students from schools in my legislative district. The Good Citizenship Award goes beyond the academic achievements of a student, honoring instead the exemplary characteristics and leadership abilities of the chosen recipients. The selected students from the graduating class have been voted as the best representation of what good citizenship means to Pembridge North Middle School and to our own community at large. As you move on from Pembridge North Middle School and into your next endeavors, I look forward to seeing the diverse and exciting paths you will all travel in the coming years. You are entering an exciting chapter of your life, and I have no doubt your future will be filled with learning, continued development of character, and adventure. Once again, congratulations and happy graduation to all. The teachers presenting the Good Citizenship Award to the male and female student recipients are Mrs. Robin Murphy and Mr. Michael DeCaro. Mrs. Murphy.
Good evening. This Citizenship Award is conferred on a student who demonstrates outstanding character, scholarship, and leadership. It's intended to recognize students whose accomplishments include not only academic excellence, but exemplary character and demonstrated leadership abilities as well. Recent events have many of us pausing to reflect on what is really important in life. Kindness, compassion, helping your fellow human beings. I think we can all agree that these are the things that really matter. Having had the privilege of being this student's social studies teacher, I can honestly say that she consistently demonstrates and is universally recognized for these qualities. Her parents shared with me that she is thoughtful, kind, compassionate, and an amazing big sister. She loves to read, is a loyal friend to her 2 best friends, enjoys swimming, and is an active member in her church youth group. Mrs. Watto described her as simply awesome in every way. Academics, kindness, personal relationships, responsibility, and respect. The Hydra team could have awarded her every month's recognition. She's the optimal student. She will be a great success in life. Mr. Novak shared that she's the one student who would go out of her way every day just to check in and see how his day was going. She's a wonderful person, always concerned about her grades and giving 100% on anything that she does. She was a great person to have in class. Mrs. Trauger described this student as having a great work ethic in the classroom, as well as being a quiet leader in group work. She also was an integral part of the field hockey team for 2 years and always strove to do her best on and off the field. She's polite, helpful to others, and has a compassionate soul. Her smile says it all. She's a true sweetheart. Coach Detweiler agreed, calling her a great individual. Finally, Mrs. Draper added that she has a passion for learning. She commits to a task and delves deeply into making it successful. She's also super sweet and kind to others, quite the epitome of a great citizen. For all of these reasons, it's my honor to present the Citizenship Award to Miss Anna Salvatore.
So what is it exactly that makes a student a good citizen in middle school? Is it someone who's kind to their fellow students? Is it someone who gets good grades? Is it someone who follows the rules? These are a few of the basic qualifications for someone who would be eligible for this award. And quite honestly, we have a lot of those students here at Penridge North Middle School. However, the person who will be receiving the State Senator Citizenship Award this evening goes much further than this. The student receiving this award tonight has been described by his teachers as the following: a phenomenal student, one who strives for excellence, uncommonly kind, unparalleled attention to detail, extremely hardworking, thoughtful, faithful in friendships, considerate of others, well-rounded, humble, a strong character, and a role model. Personally, I've had the blessing of teaching this young man in my English class, and what stands out to me about him is not necessarily one of these characteristics, but the fact that he possesses all of them and still has an earnest desire to grow and to mature as a person. In our last unit of the school year, we studied the diary of Anne Frank. Throughout this unit, students were asked to analyze Anne's words, her life, and even make some connections from Anne's teenage life to his or her life. What amazed me about this student's work was how honest and how introspective he was about not only his strengths, but his weaknesses and desires to continue to improve as a person. In addition to classwork, I've seen this young man's citizenship demonstrated outside of the classroom as well. His participating in community service, both locally with the Penridge Food Pantry and more regionally with both Rise Against Hunger and Feed My Starving Children. His heart for the local and regional community is genuine. The last part of this award mentions an interest to help or stimulate an interest in Pennsylvania state government. Typically, as a teacher, I don't think of students in the way that he or she would make a good politician, or I might see him or her in government. And I don't know whether that's in this student's plans or not, but I would say this: he would have my vote, and I'd be honored for him to represent me and our community wherever he decides to lead. So to conclude, if one were to ask me what makes a good citizen, I would answer a man or woman with impeccable character, a commitment to excellence in all areas of life, an ability to see the world outside of just the perspective of his or her experiences, and an empathy that allows that perspective to become action. And without question, I would then point to Grayson Kurzman and say, just like him. It's my pleasure to help award Grayson Kurzman with the State Senator Citizenship Award. Well done.
Thank you. Congratulations, Grayson and Anna, for your award. Well deserved. I'm going to put a side note on this one for Anna. Anna was, I'll just say, she kept me in check at school. Once in a while, I have a tendency to maybe joke around with the students or maybe make fun of one or two students, and Anna would always keep me in line and correct me that I was not being appropriate. So thank you, Anna. Our next award is for the Outstanding Female and Male Athlete. For the Female Athlete Award, there'll be two recipients this evening. This award will be presented by Mrs. D. Rankin, along with Mrs. Justine Foster, and Mr. Kevin Hickey for the female athletes, and Mr. Marquis Stokes will present the male athlete award. Mrs. Foster, and then Mrs. Rankin.
All right. Ambitious,
conscientious,
determined,
hardworking,
intelligent,
kind,
passionate,
reliable,
thoughtful,
respectful,
persistent,
motivated,
dedicated.
encouraging.
These are some of the kind words offered by many of her teachers describing our award recipient. She is also refreshingly humble and at the same time appropriately confident. A winning combination which has earned her respect and admiration among her peers and teachers. Mrs. Griffin described our award recipient as one of the hardest workers in student council. She admired how well she would work under pressure and with every challenge never seemed to get ruffled. Dr. Cole said that he will never forget this student and described her as one of the nicest, kindest, intelligent, and athletic young lady he had ever met. I agree wholeheartedly with Dr. Cole. I was lucky enough to have the student in my science class. Although she can successfully complete her academic day with no problem, she persistently puts forth 100% effort and meets every challenge head on. She is as successful in the field and court as she is in the classroom. Mrs. Detweiler remarked how our winner was a huge asset in the 2019-2020 Bucks Mount League champion field hockey team, and that her attitude and desire to win was contagious to the entire team. Mrs. Trauger and Mrs. Lockerty added that her athleticism is a dynamic gift to any sport she plays. She is not all about herself, but a true team player. Coach Rankin and I wholeheartedly agree with all these praises and compliments offered by her other coaches.
I never had the opportunity to have the student in class, but I could easily predict the comments spoken by Mrs. Foster and the other teachers and coaches. I concur with Dr. Cole. She was always smiling in the halls and went out of her way to say hello, which always brought a smile to my face. The respect she displayed for her teachers and her peers were admirable. I had the privilege of coaching this player last year as a 7th grader, and it was apparent then that she was a leader. She was able to direct the team from behind the goal to get the ball into the net. Her knowledge of the game and of the field were obvious. Her skills on the field were of the highest caliber and were evident as soon as you saw her catch and throw passes to her teammates. She made it look easy, but we all know she has the talent and has worked extremely hard to be the impressive player she is today. However, it is her humility that I feel makes her a success. If something needed to be carried or cleaned up, she was the first to volunteer and just went and did it without saying a word. The way she supports and speaks to her teammates truly embodies the statement that there is no I in team. Her work ethic and overall character make her the perfect recipient for this award. I had made the decision after last season not to coach this year because of my retirement. However, that decision was not made easily, mostly because of students and athletes like our recipient. I so wanted to see her finish her middle school career. So instead, I really look forward to watching her grow as a student and a player at the high school. The female recipient of the Outstanding Female Athlete goes to Lindsay Campione. We feel so bad we can't.
I'm also proud to present one of our Female Athlete of the Year awards to an individual who excelled in 3 different sports. There are several individuals who excel in a sport, but it takes a truly special athlete to excel in multiple sports the way that this young lady has. I am proud to present the Female Athlete Year Award to Casey Malone. Casey, you can say right here, I have a lot to say about you, but it's obvious. I'm going to say your name early because it's obvious going to be you. So congratulations, Casey. Casey has had a remarkable 2 athletic years participating in sports and has accomplished many significant achievements, even with missing the spring track season, which she excelled in the previous year as a 7th grader. Casey participated and excelled in soccer, basketball, and track in 7th and in 8th grade. Not only was she a tremendous athlete, but a good student in the classroom, involved in student council, and an overall good citizen at North that helped create a positive school spirit. She's very coachable, a team leader, a team player that puts others above herself and will do whatever is asked of her for the sake of the team. She portrays a quiet, confident spirit in competitive situations. In athletics, Casey was a 2-time varsity letter earner in basketball. She was a captain this year and helped lead her basketball team this year to an overall 9-1 record. In basketball, she was our best defensive player who was assigned every game to stop the best offensive player on the opposing team. Defense wins games, and Casey had a major impact on the success of our team this year due to her defensive tenacity that would shut down opposing players. Casey was so good defensively that we as a team would rarely help her, even though she was guarding the other team's top scorer. We would game plan to actually stay out of her way, as even though she may look like she was beat, she was so much faster than others and had such good footwork that she could recover and put herself in a positive defensive position to shut down her player. In the past 29 years that I've been coaching basketball, I've had some exceptionally good defensive female players. She's one of the top defensive female players that I've ever had the opportunity to coach. In track, she's a total difference maker, a type of athlete with her speed that does not come around very often. As a 7th grader, she dominated almost every race that she was in. I could count on her to win 3 events almost every meet. She has the 5th best total points in a season for a female in the history of North. What is amazing about that achievement is that we've had some incredible female track athletes here at North. And the 4 athletes who were above her accomplished that feat as an 8th grader. And they also had 2 more meets to achieve points. If she would have had the opportunity to participate in those 2 extra meets, she would have been projected to have the single season total of points for a female in the history of North. Casey holds an amazing 4 school records, all achieved as a 7th grader. The records that she holds are exceptional times for a middle school female athlete, as 2 of them are high school events and would qualify her for districts in high school. One, I think, is a state mark as well. She holds school records in the 100 at 12 flat, the 200 at 26 flat, the 75 at 9.7, and she was on the fastest 4x100 open relay team that ran an FAT time of 52.26. That time was run last year at the Penn Relays in Philadelphia on a rainy day that earned our team 2nd place at one of the most prestigious relays in the world. Casey was a big part of last year's track team that went undefeated at 8-0 and was the Bucksmont League champions. As all 4 of her school records are sprints, Casey also can excel in the mid-distance races as well. This year in phys ed class, some of the students participated in the 12-minute Cooper test, which is one of the most reputable tests for aerobic capacity. The test is how many laps on a track can you compete in 12 minutes. Casey completed more laps than anyone else in our school who participated this year in the test. Casey completed 8 laps, which would average out to her running an average of 6-minute mile over 2 completed miles. She has a unique combination of speed and endurance. With her athletic ability, positive attitude, quiet confidence, how she focuses on her task, her coachability, and hard work ethic, I'm excited to see her accomplishments at the next level and beyond. Congratulations to Casey Malone, who's one of our Female Athlete of the Year Award winners.
What comes to mind when you think of an athlete? Usually people think of words like strength, speed, agility, and toughness. When I think of an athlete, I think of words like loyal, humble, great teammate, smart, trustworthy. This year's Male Athlete of the Year demonstrated all those characteristics and more. Although this decision was not an easy one, because there were many young men who fit into these categories, we felt like Robert Pavlik was a great choice for this award. This year, Robert played a huge part in our football and wrestling success. He was a hard worker and led by example. He was dependable, a good teammate, and a good student on and off the field. Although Robert had a lot more experience than many of his other players on the team, he was always willing to listen and learn new things. Robert was also forced to overcome obstacles his 8th grade football season, as he played most of the season with a broken arm. That did not stop him from playing his hardest and showing up for the team. I remember the game very well. The trainer must have wrapped his arm 1,000 times. And he was asking, "Coach, how am I supposed to play with this?" He had a club this big. I said, "Bobby, there's 4 minutes left before the game. You got to figure it out." And he did figure it out. He played really, really well. Mr. Wonder, who coached Robert in wrestling for the past 2 years, said, "Bobby Pavlik is a very gifted athlete and scholar. He excelled on the mat and in the classroom. Bobby is dedicated to improving both as an athlete and a student. In the classroom, he loved the challenge and was never satisfied until he was able to figure out a problem. Bobby was the same on the wrestling mat. He never lost a dual match as a 7th and 8th grader. But the special thing about Bobby was his dedication to his team, always cheering on teammates during matches and practice, always there to help. Bobby has a very bright future. I'm proud to say that I taught and coached such a fine young man." Along with being a great athlete, Bobby brought his dedication and hard work ethic into the classroom. I taught Bobby as a 6th grader, and back then he would never just settle for okay in the classroom. He always wanted to know what he can do to get to be the best possible student. A few things his middle school teachers had to say about him was that he was a conscientious student who was always looking to get better. Very smart student with a bright future, works well with others, and brings his competitive nature into the classroom. I am very happy that Robert decided to be part of our sports teams this year. As stated earlier, he played a very important role in the success of our football and wrestling teams. I know he will be very successful with whatever he decides to do in the future, and I'm excited for what the future has in store for this talented student athlete. Congratulations again. North's Male Athlete of the Year, Robert Bobby Pavlik.
Congratulations to all three of you. You're talented and well-deserving individuals. The three things, when I look at all three of those young people that just walked across the stage, the thing that rings true to me is their humility and their modesty. You would never know any one of those three had the talent they do. They never boast about it. They never brag about it. They're the most humble people you would ever meet. And I think that's the quality that just makes me so proud of them. So congratulations to the three of you. Our next award is the Merit Award. This award will be presented to the male and female recipient by Mr. Paul Volberg, Mrs. P.D. Ritchie. Mr. Volberg, you go first, Mr. Volberg. Thank you.
I think it's only right to mention that Mrs. Hayes was supposed to be here presenting this tonight, but she had an illness in her family, so she couldn't make it. So I'm reading her words. I don't want to take credit for that. Okay. Overcoming adversity is one skill that is imperative to be successful in life. When life throws challenges at you, how a person handles hardships is key. The Merit Award recognizes students who have overcome challenges such as a language barrier to be successful in academics, citizenship, scholarship, and attitude. I had the pleasure of having this young lady in my 6th grade ESL English class. I was able to see her dedication and commitment for learning English. She was always on task, and when she finished, was more than happy to help her peers in class. I observed this willingness to help others, particularly during summer ESL camp, where she was a leader in helping the younger students. This year, she also helped 2 newcomer students with English language in several of their classes. During the pandemic, when school transitioned to remote learning, she had the added responsibility of helping her siblings with their schoolwork. Not only has she succeeded in academics, she also actively participated in other areas. She put herself out there by joining sports teams and music groups. She played basketball in 7th grade and helped with timing and stats during North track meets. In addition, she plays the trumpet in the symphonic band during 7th and 8th grade, as well as participating in the jazz band in 8th grade. Other teachers have shared their experiences with having her in their classrooms. Mrs. Watto said, "She is an extremely hard worker. In 7th grade reading, she was a rock star. She always went above and beyond what was required. In the future, I know she will be a success. She is motivated to do her best and is driven to succeed." Mrs. Murphy wrote, "She is kind, has adjusted well to school at Penridge, and is always helpful to her peers. She puts forth effort and has a great smile." Mr. DeCaro wrote, "She really was a valuable member of our English class. She often added insight to what we were reading. She was diligent to do her work with attention to quality and was always willing to help out a student if he or she needed it. She has more ability than she sometimes gives herself credit for." And I wrote, "She has always been a student who has worked steadily at trumpet and continued to improve week in and week out to the point that she was one of the strongest trumpet players when we went out in mid-March. She works hard and takes school very seriously." Jasmine Garcia is the recipient of this award for the 2019-20 school year. We are proud to present this award to her and wish her luck at Penridge High School next year. Unfortunately, she couldn't make it here tonight. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm here this evening to proudly present the Merit Award to a former student of mine. When Mrs. Whalen sent out the email listing the names of the student award recipients, I saw this student's name there and thought, I would really love to present this award to him, but I wasn't sure what the award was for. So I inquired of Mrs. Whalen, and she sent me a little blurb about it. It mostly states that the recipient of the Merit Award is someone who shows growth and improvement in attitude, citizenship, and scholarship. That's like schoolwork and learning, etc. Working against barriers of some kind. As Maya Angelou wrote, "We delight in the beauty of the butterfly, but rarely admit the changes it has gone through to achieve that beauty." Upon reading the blurb, I realized that the description of this award so perfectly fit this student in 6th grade. But what about in the grades that had followed? So I proceeded to wean information from his teachers who most recently taught him on a daily basis to see how this particular student had grown and developed. I would like to share these, but first, a little anecdote that will reveal the character of the recipient. This young man was always an advocate for himself in math, and the first time he asked me if he could come to my homeroom during 11th period for help, I enthusiastically encouraged him to do so. He continued to show up every single day, and at times, I was so busy with other questions and kids needing help that he might sit in the back of my room waiting patiently to work with me. He knew other kids needed help too and didn't want to infringe upon their time with me. This was not only considerate, but thoughtful and empathetic on his part. The first few times he came over for help for Mrs. Bronstein's homeroom, the former Miss Toner, she would either call or walk over to ask if he was with me. After a while, she would just peek in, give a thumb up, and walk back to her room. He would report to my room every single day. It was almost as if he had changed homerooms. There were days that no matter how long or hard we worked, understanding of the concepts didn't emerge so easily, but that did not stop him. He continued to report for help. In my opinion, this student is the world's most devoted Legos fan, maybe their best and most resourceful at that. He even has a YouTube channel for his creative uses for these wonderful building pieces. I'm not the only teacher, however, to have had these kinds of experiences with this remarkable young man. Mrs. Sterling, our media specialist or librarian, complimented him on his willingness to help her with her Legos structures, being there nearly every morning, during lunches, and in the afternoons as well. He was also instrumental in helping to execute the Lego luncheon for the Pine Run residents' memory care patients. Mrs. Sterling says of him, he is thoughtful, funny, introspective, and a tremendous listener and cares about his classwork, maybe too much. In addition to his thoughtfulness and willingness to help, Mr. Allen remarked, his diligence and attention to detail has grown in patience with himself and work. Mr. Allen continued to write that he had, quote, appreciated his acts of kindness and subtle humor, end quote. In closing, with all these wonderful comments about you and your amazing attributes, I just want to let you know that a teacher who lives in Ireland has built an entire working beehive out of Legos. So the idea of utilizing Legos for just fun and games or as a hobby is completely erroneous. Legos can share a place in the realm of useful purposes as well. Maybe someday we will see your picture in the news as an inventor who created something remarkable out of Legos or other building materials. And remember this quote from The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, success at anything will always come down to this, focus and effort, and we control both. Keep striving to be your best. And I am proud to give this award to Mr. Sean Mancinelli. Sean. Congratulations.
Thank you. Sean and Jasmine are two excellent candidates for the award, and I appreciate you being here and your quality young men and women, so thank you. You're well deserving. Our next award is the Assistant Principal's Award tonight, and the male and female recipient will be presented by Mr. Taylor.
The Assistant Principal's Award focuses on those students who made the most out of their time here at North through participating in extracurricular activities, getting involved with clubs and organizations, and being positive examples to their fellow students. When our 8th grade students entered North as 6th graders, teachers, staff members, administrators, we all implored them to get involved and make the most of their time here, because before you know it, it's over. Academic rigors, such as in-depth reading, complex problem solving, they go far to strengthen your mind. But the extracurricular activities take the mind strengthening even further. From strengthening the mind to promoting better time management skills, extracurricular activities can help students succeed much more than just their academic endeavors. These activities can also work to build professional skills that a classroom alone cannot always foster. Students can also use these activities to explore interests they've never encountered, exposing themselves to a more diverse range of interests in things, ideas, and subject matters. High endurance students can also, there are certain things like sports and activities, high endurance sports, for example, train students to maintain patience and resilience in the face of adversary, difficulty. Sports even foster the effect of strong team building activities and training students in holding long-term goals. Leadership-oriented clubs like Student Council or Rachel's Challenge help students learn essential skills in management and delegation, while a debate or a speech team will provide additional public speaking practice for students. In short, extracurricular activities will often arm the students with many of the skills future employers will be looking for them. This evening's winners have displayed these traits through their time here, and they have been models for our 6th and 7th grade students. From minute to win it, to lip sync battles, to carrying themselves as examples for all of the kids in this school. This year's winners for the Assistant Principals Award are Brady Fish and Jesse Gant.
Jesse and Brady, good luck and congratulations to you in the future. I'm going to add a note about Jesse, if I could. Jesse has the unique ability to laugh at herself through all the crazy circumstances that could possibly come around. And it's a quality that's admirable because not a lot of students her age can do that. Even tonight, as she came theatrically into the auditorium, I knew there would be a story and guaranteed there was a story. So, but she has the ability to laugh at herself, and that's a great quality to have for all of us. Final award tonight is the Principals Award. And before I start with that, I need to lead into something here. Most of the teachers here have worked with these students for a year, 2 years. Very few of them worked with them for 3 years. I consider myself lucky every year to work with them for 3 years, at least engage with them and have a chance to talk, interact, joke, whatever the case may be, because I truly believe we have amazing kids here, funny kids, intelligent kids. And it's sad at the end of the time when, you know, 8th grade comes and I have to see these people go, because I have watched them grow over the 3 years. And the people that are here tonight are just fantastic people. There's many more in the school, but like I said, the people that and kids I get to surround myself with on a daily basis is what makes me wake up in the morning. The virtual learning almost killed me because the time I spent away from them did not do me well. So just a little background that I truly miss being around the kids, and I truly enjoyed my 3 years with the students that are here tonight. So the final award tonight, again, is the Principals Award. Again, I'll be presenting this award to the male and female recipient. This award is given to the students who exemplify all the qualities, virtues, and talents of a complete middle school student. These two students are friendly, driven, talented, intelligent, kind, polite, and have immersed themselves in the school culture since 6th grade. They are what I call the package student. They have it all. These two students demonstrated day after day the qualities I'm looking for in every student. I appreciate everything they have done now and how they've treated others from the time they began here. The highest compliment I could give them is, if I was their parent, I'd be extremely proud to call them my own child. Well done to both students and your parents. I'd like to talk about the male recipient first. I'd like to start by honoring the male recipient of this award. This young man has been nothing but a model student since entering middle school in 6th grade. But before I continue with the accolades about this young man, I'd like to share what the other teachers had to say about him. Mrs. Roberts said this young man was always happy and smiling. He was also a joy to be around. He was accepting, non-judgmental, helpful to others, and always volunteered to help me. He was very mature, yet got along well with his classmates. Mrs. Griffin commented, this young man was new to student council in 8th grade. I'm so glad he came out. He was a ball of energy and enthusiasm. He always had a smile on his face. He was a hard worker and one of the most positive people I've ever met. I've never heard him say a bad word about anyone. He is helpful and not afraid of hard work. Mr. Groller said this young man is not only a brilliant student, but he is also a leader in the classroom. Mrs. Draper continues by saying this young man came to middle school knowing just about every baseball stat that could fit into one brain and continued connecting all of his work to that knowledge of baseball. However, he has matured into a wonderful individual who has had a lot of spirit and inquiry. His creativity is one of his strengths as he makes work for everyone around him unique and fun. He's an all-around great kid involved in sports, academics, and music, the big three. Mr. Volberg said he is super intelligent, lots of energy, consistently worked hard, and had high expectations for himself and others, and the group as a whole. As for myself, this young man exemplifies all the qualities and virtues of a North Middle School student. He was intelligent, kind, athletic, involved, and musically talented. He was always friendly and had a smile on his face. In 7th grade, he was one of the three students who anchored the North Middle School team on the Fox game show, The Classroom. Every interaction I've had with him was positive and enjoyable. Even in the cafeteria, where these interactions sometimes were not as positive as we want them to be, he was even positive there. His parents should be extremely proud of him and his accomplishments while he's been here at North Middle School. I wish this young man all the best and success in the future. I have no doubt he'll contribute to the high school and make a positive impact on the community in his lifetime. It's my pleasure to give this year's principal award to Owen Groover. Next, I'd like to present the principal award to the female recipient. This young lady hit the ground running her first day in 6th grade and never looked back. She loved every part of middle school experience and eventually demonstrated why she is an excellent choice for this award. Before I speak about this student, here's what her teachers had to say about her. Mrs. Rankin said, this young lady was a leader on the lacrosse field. She always tried her best and persevered through every task. She always wanted to learn and was never afraid to take a risk or try new things. Mrs. Roberts commented, this young lady was always so happy and smiling. She was very friendly, respectful, and an absolute joy to be around. Accepting, friendly, mature, positive, always the first to volunteer to help, and a few things that come to mind. Any positive adjective you can think of describes her. I remember I lost my voice for 2 days. She just stepped right up and became my voice. She literally became the teacher. Mrs. Griffin said, this young lady has an intensity and a drive, but also a kindness and thoughtfulness. She has incredible organizational skills. She was the vice president of student council in 8th grade and was the secretary in 7th grade. This year, she helped with the 6th grade interviews for the new student council members. She was a strong leader. She always stepped up to the plate to get the job done. This young lady finds who are the kids who are lost at the dance and tries to engage them and involve them in the dance. I couldn't ask more from her. She was the person I went to when I needed something done. Mrs. Ritchie stated, this young lady is one of the happiest students I have ever had the pleasure to teach. She would volunteer to help in any way she could when she was in my 6th grade homeroom. Mrs. Lockery commented, this young lady is a student who is smart and has common sense. She's a student who can rise above the noise and speak her mind and stand her ground. She was quick to laugh, quick to listen. I could always count on her for being fully engaged in class. She's going to do great things. Mrs. Whalen said, she was amazing to watch and grow as an actor over the years. She's multi-talented and an amazing student. I will miss our lunch bunch. Mrs. Draper commented, this young lady is sweet and considerate. She regularly is thinking of others and how they perceiving her work and efforts. In that vein, she works very hard to make sure that she is always doing her best. She is friendly with everyone she's around and makes sure they are achieving to their ability. She will be missed next year. As for myself, the following words are how I describe this young lady: kind, caring, compassionate, a natural leader, self-motivated, a sharp sense of humor, mature, talented, and intelligent. She's the epitome of what makes everything good about this school. From her time as a leader in the student council to her outstanding performances in The Lion King Jr. and James and the Giant Peach Jr., it was easy to see she had all the qualities that we look for in this student. Just her presence at North Middle School made it a better place. Personally, I will miss our conversations, whether they were in the front of the school in the morning, in a hallway, usually lamenting about geometry, during lunch, at a student council meeting, at a dance, or even backstage during a performance. I will even miss the time when she accidentally bounced a water bottle off my head in the cafeteria during lunch, or even the time she misremembers losing her balance and falling into her locker. All of those things make this young lady a natural recipient of this honor. She has an extremely promising future. She is someone who I wish all the success in the world moving forward. She has everything in place to excel and make a difference, not only in the community, but also in the world. Her parents should be extremely proud of her accomplishments. I will miss her. She moves off to the high school, and she'll be the one student I truly never forget. Thank you for the last 3 years. This year's Principal Award recipient is Kiara Rook. Okay. Congratulations to all 13 individuals tonight. You are well-deserving. You are what makes this place a great place. And I truly appreciate every one of you that has walked through the store and enhanced their life over the last 3 years. Some other awards that we usually recognize people with if we were here in Mass the last day of school. I'd like to congratulate 7th grader Tyler Falaska on being our geography bee winner this year at North Middle School. He had made it to the state contest level before the COVID pandemic hit. Congratulations, Tyler. Hopefully next year as an 8th grader, he'll move even further. This year's spelling bee winner was Jordan E. Congratulations, Jordan. I'd also like to recognize all the members of our music program. There are over 350 students in our school who have participated in our chorus, band, or orchestra program. Many students were in 2 or 3 more of these programs. I would also like to recognize the student council members who stepped up again this year, creating fun activities to support our students and staff. You have truly made a difference growing the culture of this school. I cannot thank you enough for all your hard work making North Middle School a better place for our staff and students. You are truly one of the best, most fun, engaging group of students I've ever been around in all my years in education. Thank you and good luck to the 8th grade students as they move on to the high school. And finally, in my closing remarks, if we were here on the last day of school, I'd be giving out my words of wisdom to all the grade levels. So without trying to break tradition, I'd like to thank the 6th and 7th grade students for a remarkably good year. By all accounts, it's been and will be a pleasure to having you back here at North next year. Thank you for persevering through this crazy, unfortunate time. I'm sure I speak for many, if not all of you, when I say you would rather have been end of the year having dances, having a field day, and all the other things you missed out on than staying at home. I sincerely hope next year brings us back to the state of normalcy because I truly miss seeing you each and every day. Have a terrific summer. Relax, close your laptop, and hopefully we'll see you back here in person in August. Take care, 6th and 7th graders. Finally, the 8th graders. Here we are ending one of the most interesting 3 years a class could have. Let me recap them for you. In 6th grade, you were subjected to the March snow bomb. That left many of you stranded in school or on the roads, in a car or in a bus, and some of you didn't get home until 7 or 8 o'clock at night. In 7th grade, 2,000 high school students descended upon us in the spring to fill up our auditorium, gym, and cafeteria due to a bomb scare at the high school. We had to accommodate those people, and it was a very full house. And finally, our final unprecedented event was the cruelest of them all, the COVID-19 pandemic closing our schools in March. I'm sure at the time when it first happened, you thought, this is going to be a great couple weeks off. But as you found out, the rest of the school year got canceled, and your 8th grade school year in those days came to an end abruptly. It took from you the closure and the finality and the fun events like the picnic and the 8th grade farewell dance. Unfortunately, you cannot get those things back. What you can take away from this past year was your exciting minute-to-win-it victory over the 7th grade, a fun time at the lip sync battle, and not to mention all the sporting events, plays, performances, and laughs you had over the years with your friends and classmates. In all of this, you above any class has learned how to persevere and be resilient. These are life lessons that will serve you well in the future as you get older. I want to wish you the best in all you do. Good luck at the high school and beyond. Don't let anyone tell you you can't do something, prove them wrong. You can do it. Before I wrap this up, I want to take away 3 things that I learned from this class. 1, George Washington was the first man on the moon. 2, triplets come in pairs. And 3, you really can fit 17 water bottles into the top of a locker. It has been my pleasure with being your principal for the last 3 years, and I truly mean that. I will miss you. Please stop back and visit. Stay safe, stay healthy, relax, and enjoy your summer. Take care. Again, at this time, there should be 2 links for you to view at the end of the video. One link is for the 8th grade honors, presidential and honor roll recipients, and the other is the end of the year video. On behalf of the teachers, administrators, and support staff, I'd like to congratulate the parents and students who received an award tonight one more time. Thank you. Stay healthy. Enjoy your summer. Have a nice evening. Good night.